consume all the time of the show and eat up too much of the screen time and tell the story. But it's out there. It's this. All right. So good afternoon. My name's David. I play the doctor. My name's Peter. I really grew up with a fan named Speed for some years. When I participated in Pony Fandom, I adopted the fan name Timey Wimey. A year ago this convention, I hosted like an impromptu spur-of-the-minute panel on Final Pony Christmas Magic book. I checked the program, there's no mention of Pony anywhere. I said, well, clearly this is an oversight. You know, this has to be rectified. And about 33 people showed up on for a scheduled panel. Pretty good. I have to say that, introduce yourselves.
My name is Heather. I actually am a pony fan from way back. I've collected all the gens, and I love the show, so I'm really excited about that. So I offered to help them out on this channel today. And I'm Danielle. I'm a big fan too. 68, so. So we know the old stuff and the new stuff, so we can tie that in as well.
My name is Kevin, and I'm the organizer of Bronies NYC, the largest meetup group in the nation right now, and it's currently hosting events at New York City. There's one coming up in April this month for the season finale. The Royal Wedding. We hope to be opening not only public screening, but also a public screening of the park. And I'm also a musician. For the not know, I do full covers of pony songs.
I would say this fandom is unlike any I think I've ever seen come down the road before, largely due to the immediacy of the internet. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, sure, there were old Star Trek fans, hardcore Trekkies and all that kind of thing. But yeah, it's just this is one thing where you get instant feedback from anything that Now I have to admit, I'm the type of person who tends to avoid what I see as trends. It's like others with cats. So, you know, a little more than a year ago, I was just seeing Pony images turning up on art site galleries and image boards. And I figured, all right, that's the hot week, man. But it became inescapable. So ponies
It
everywhere.
didn't go away.
It wasn't going to go away. It was only getting bigger and bigger. Peers, people older than me, are expressing their fandom for the show. It's like, maybe I should see what this is all about. So, you know, and believe it or not, the first place to play catch-up turned out to be, first place to find to play catch-up. They're like, what is this pony stuff all about? That turned out to be an excellent place to get started. They explained it without being smarmy about it. You're like, oh, look at those jerks. No, it was very straight. If you still think you have to do some hacking up, that's a good place to go. They have certain subpages, you know, the 20 fan, and you can do characters and everything. So all right, I think that's hacking up. I caught the two-part premiere. I said, wow, this is actually pretty good. They're going for epic stuff here. Yeah. Getting feedback from the fans, finding sites like, if you have like one source of news and information, what would it be? Okay. Excuse my hand, guys. And that's updated several times a day with like a new article. Each time. Every Saturday they have a post for the new episode discussion and links to the live streams and the YouTube uploads. And every Saturday it gains like 600 comments or more. Within the space of like 4 hours. And I think like, this is unlike any fandom I've ever seen. I mean, yeah, sure, there's fans there, there's content, people are going to write fan fiction, people are going to do fan. But there's tons and tons of different things up. Like more than any one person can keep track of. Press Reveal, every day they post a draw thread, which is like a compilation of 20, 30, or 40 fan-generated art images. And sometimes they're straight on model, sometimes they go gloriously off-model, like epic paintings. The fan fictions, we're going to go cover all kinds of territory that the show never could. From mature, grim, to sad, to epic 20 wars in the future. A lot of active crosses were stuff that I don't even have familiarity with. Like a lot of gaming. It's like a popular fan fiction, like Fallout Equestria. I've never played Fallout. I've never played Fallout. It just goes everywhere.
Have you seen, now, anyone here from 4chan? And they put up, now 4chan has its own My Little Pony section. It's not even on the comics and cartoons section anymore, it's its own My Little Pony
Hey,
section.
I want to say, because I'm an older fella, I don't spend as much time online as a lot of people do. So, in large part, I was kind of like avoiding 4chan. I didn't know 4chan was there. I looked at it from time to time, but so I didn't pick up on the fandom there. Okay. But again, it's impossible to contain. It's still over. Just all the fan content. I mean, my God, how many thousands of like fan-made pony videos can be found on YouTube? It's just like more. Yeah, there aren't even hours in your entire life to watch them all. Anywhere, just a simple, re-edit, you're just lifting footage from the show, putting together with separate audio, to people who are doing work on animation, right, voice work. It's astonishing. It's like, and what makes it fun even more fun is that the people who are making the show are totally like getting instant feedback from the fans and reciprocating.
I'll tell you that a lot of Hasbro reps are actually on the boards. Not just the older boards like the Arena and the Trading Post, but they're on 4chan, they're on Equestria Daily, under aliases, and only certain people know that they're actually there. So Hasbro is listening to us. Scary as that seems, they have a whole department dedicated to this sort of thing. They do. They really do.
Here right now.
You never know. Honestly, you never know. But they're out there and they're paying attention to what we're saying.
Tell them to make more bonus stuff.
You guys have to post on the boards. All of them, no matter where it is. Hasbro pays attention to this. We think they don't, but they do. They absolutely have. And if you've seen the new toy magazine from the Toy Fair, they have all the cool new ponies that are coming out, like the glow-in-the-dark Zagora, and a bunch of the others that you can get at Toys R Us, like the Falls, Celestia. It's amazing.
But like we're finally starting to see the manufactured product. Like for instance, even the Wave 3 blind bags, you'll notice that in Wave 2 there was just the heartstrings for the character that we, the fan base, had pretty much named Lyra. But then, after listening to whatever comments were posted or however it occurred, when Wave 3 of the blind bags came out, it was time to read.
It's actually Wave 5, yeah.
And the name was adapted to Lyra Heartstrings.
They put it together, which is fabulous that they're doing this.
Explain why Princess Celestia was pink.
Yes, they did. When they play tested it, they said that girls like pink. We don't like white. We don't want it to be the same as a TV show. We want it to be pink. And you'll notice now we're getting a white Celestia. Shocker.
Yeah, their market research was, you can't go wrong making the girls' toys pink.
I will say this, by making them smaller, since I like the older ones, I thought it was ridiculous. These ponies are absolutely tiny compared to the G3s, the G1s. I'm watching my 4-year-olds in my preschool class play with them. They really do fit their hands better than the big ones. They're absolutely better for their target audience. Yes, I have a couple too. But they fit them so much better. Well, you gotta go for like the G3s for
I'd
that.
like to say that
I like your G3s and your G1s.
a year ago at this time, the first season was still being broadcast. It got about as far as maybe the 20th or 21st episode. You didn't see all that much like fan recognition feedback yet. But the closest that you saw was that yes, they were like sticking that funny gray Pegasus with the walleyes into scenes.
Which was a typo to begin with. That was an accident. And when they saw how the fan base loved it, I mean, they gave her a speaking part at one point.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. But in the first season episodes, you saw that she was popping up with the funny eyes, and that was sort of like. And so they're already beginning to reciprocate that way. But before that season ended, I believe they had come up with the Equestria Girls promotional spot and like the Bridal Maids billboard, which is based on the Bridesmaids movie poster. Right? Okay. And you didn't realize, well, this is not being aimed at their target audience. anymore. They're sort of beginning to acknowledge the brony family. The Equestrian Girls promotional spot, they came out and said bronies, and they said, oh my God, they mentioned bronies, they know us, they
DJ
love
Brony
us.
3.
DJ Pone 3, yes. And people say DJ Pone E, but if you say Pone 3, you realize that they're picking up on the fan name
yeah.
Because they know we're awesome Phillies.
Absolutely.
Because they want us to buy more stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this stuff is going good. The meetups started happening last summer. Okay, and so those guys, this we can actually throw together a convention, which I think began happening in September and elsewhere.
Well,
That's the Brony Con.
yes, the first, what is it, the first actual Bronies meetup was in May. It was sort of a joint effort between here and Seattle, actually, where there's another guy named Roy who's started organizing it. Over here we have Purple Tinker. And they sort of threw their efforts together and invested in meetup.com, which is a platform where people can connect. And the first meetup, the first time ponies actually met in real life was in May. And then shortly after that, in June, we saw what was called the first Brony Con. It was sort of just thrown together, and they had a venue, but they kind of got kicked out or something like that happened. They made the best of it though. They all went down to the park and had an awesome time, and that eventually pooled and built until we had BronyCon September, which was a pretty decent event. It drew about, 400, 500 people again?
I don't recall the numbers, I'm sorry.
400, yeah.
If Tinker's here, she could probably.
Tinker's not here anymore, she went home last night.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but it was like about 300, 400 people at max, and that was in Chinatown. And we all had a great time. Especially there was like a rave afterwards. And
By the way, 304 people in a space
yeah.
approximately the size of this room. A little longer, a little wider. It was incredibly cool day, no air conditioning. We still had a good time.
You could smell the friendship.
Say though that yes, BronyCon goes on what, every other month, is it?
No, not every other month. It's supposed to. The original plan was to have it be quarterly, but it has grown so exponentially that that's impossible. So we're either looking at twice a year or once a year now.
Okay.
I mean, I shouldn't say we. I have a loose relationship with the organization. I provide audiovisual services, but yes, they are growing. As a matter of fact, the last convention in January had about 700 people. If not 800 at max, because there was variances in attendance, and that was at Hotel Pennsylvania. Was anyone here for that? That was a very interesting experience, But hopefully for June, because there was some misorganization, but for June things are full steam ahead. Has anyone been to Anime Next before? It's another convention.
Yeah.
It's going to be held where Anime Next was previously at the Meadowlands Convention Center in New Jersey. So I mean, I know it's sort of grunge-con now, but.
Well, I just wanted to point out though that the ponies actually had an annual meetup in the US, over in the UK and in Australia for years. And it's wonderful to see more of a fan base coming into this and to see the BronyCon coming up, so there is more pony fun available for everyone. And it's wonderful.
Where's the district for?
They're having it in Orlando. Yeah, it's going to be in Orlando, and I want to say it's in July.
Yeah.
And Hasbro is very much associated with both the one here and the one in Australia. So they send a lot of stuff. They send staff to them. We had it in Rhode Island at Hasbro last year, which was awesome. I haven't made it to the BronyCon yet, but I keep meaning to go. I have to work. I will. I'll get there.
Don't worry about it.
So, over the last summer, while the fandom is coasting on the afterglow of the first 24, 26 episodes, first season, and
Cancel that ball, the Galloping Gala.
which concluded with the Grand Gambling Gala, which, any number of past episodes were hinting towards, first they have the tickets to go, then they're making themselves dresses to wear when they go, and they're actually there. And then every pony, all of the main 6 or 7, counts, had to have something to do with it. And it's like, in addition to a knockout, 3-minute, 3.5-minute song in the first act, and they had to give all of these characters something to do in the remaining time. It was fun, and the end actually seemed a little rough. It's one of something you notice with this show. It's like they can barely cram the story they want to tell into the 21 minutes they have. They've been getting better about
They do have less commercial breaks than some of the other cartoons, which I kind of like.
Okay, so over the summer, posting on the Afterglow and all the new fan-generated content is still coming up there, and I'll give them all. It's the summer pony. And behind closed doors, the show making staff is busy preparing the next season. They're going to be in full swing at that point because they have to have their interface in the film. So we started getting, interesting little bits. They started reciprocating to the fan base and such. They started releasing like preview clips of the upcoming episode. And what was the preview clip we saw? There's a character there. That guy sounds like Q from Star Trek. And he's acting like Q from Star Trek. Well, that was no accident.
Guess what? He was.
See, well, apparently when they wrote that character, they were probably reminded of Q from Star Trek. That's like, wouldn't it be fun if we can get that guy to the voice? And saying like, yeah, why not? Yeah, he's available.
Turns out he didn't even realize it was going to be on My Little Pony show. Seriously, they did an interview afterwards, and he said that he did the voice for Hasbro, saying they wanted him in an animation thing they were doing. He wasn't paying much attention. He went and he did the voice after he left. Later found out that he was on My Little Pony show. Thought it was awesome. You can YouTube the video on it. It's very funny.
I might be paraphrasing this here, but I do remember him commenting. Gene Roddenberry had warned me about Star Trek. Nobody warned me about Pony fans. But it really, considering the character, there was perfect casting. I'm still reminded of a line from his third appearance on Star Trek Next Generation. The episode where he introduces the board. Picard says to him, "Learn about you is frankly provocative, but the next of kin is chaos." Yeah, that's it. And interestingly enough, they did not keep up the idea of both having, celebrity guest voices on the show. I actually remember back when during the time of the first season, when the fan-generated music videos were getting going, somebody had done a Pony Polka video. He was taking one of Weird Al Yankovic's polka medleys of pop songs. And Al Yankovic had tweeted virulently in response to that. And I think Jason Tyson, the director, had sort of tweeted back to him. It's like, hey, you want to do a guest voice on the show? You're welcome to. For whatever reason, he didn't pursue that. But it would be fun.
It would be neat if they had more of those. But we don't know what they're going to do in the future. They might.
That's the fun, the surprise, right?
It is. It's nice to have some surprise.
I mean, there was only one slight disappointment, was that LeVar Burton wasn't on the Reading Rainbow Dash episode, and he was doing other work for Hasbro. But, it's just
By the way, the working title for Lead and Lead was, in fact, Reading Rainbow.
Which totally fits.
Yes. All right, so they opened the new season, with a two-parter, two consecutive episodes, and yes, they're reaching for the epic again. They're setting up elements of armor. They're issuing forth the rainbow of vengeance, rainbow of yes, nice little touches. Discord has turned Ponyville to chaos. And I still remember a little bubble of magic that Twilight causes when it pushes down and actually turns a little patch of ground back to normal. Little subtle touches. They're very careful. Really, one of the things that makes this show great is that it's the kind of cartoon where you can tell they're making it for themselves first. It's like they're making the kind of show they want to see. I remember I got the same vibe back in the 90s when also facing Vancouver, the computer animators were making a show called, different studio entirely, but making a show called Reboot. Yeah, you totally felt they were making it for themselves. This is the kind of cartoon they wanted to see themselves. Yeah. The shame that nobody ever put up the money to conclude that.
Reboot was concluded.
No?
Yeah, the way it happened, Enzo ended up watching.
Yes, they
And
did.
then, however, the system just reset itself, so you had future Enzo.
Yes, but they still had another 4 episodes after that. And they would have had, they sort of left it on a cliffhanger, and they never ended up producing the concluding episodes. But I don't want to talk about
Back to My Little Pony.
My Little Pony. All right, so it starts off really well. And in fact, I remember that those episodes, The Return of Harmony, were being run at the same time as that September BronyCon. So yeah, some people.
We screened the second episode at September Burning.
Yes.
Yeah, to much avail.
Yeah, and Jason Tyson, the director, was there and getting some feedback from everybody. I was like, oh, we love it. We absolutely adore it.
Going as far as even sort of to an extent a meme was generated there. Do you remember the Discord Shuffle? That was the first time.
Oh, yes.
Every day I'm shuffling.
Yeah, he's not appearing in the flesh, he's appearing in the stained glass windows in the Capulet Castle, and he's talking back at them. He's calling out Celestia. I don't turn ponies to stone.
Yeah, and like, if it was just Bajani and I just thought, you know, I had that song by LMFAO on my hard drive, and like, Bajani's like, I have to play this. Hey, and so sure enough, it synced up perfectly, and got people dancing for like 20 minutes the whole night. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, time. There's so much to talk about. I'm afraid of too much time.
Let's ask.
The panel needs to be about 20% cooler.
Turn off the air conditioner. Oh, yeah, by the way, certainly BronyCon in September needed to be about 20 degrees cooler. Bit of an ordeal, especially if you were like, doing cosplay, cosplay. Some the people who were actually turning up in what was it, Applejack and Rainbow Dash fursuits, full body costumes.
Oh my gosh.
I saw that. In fact,
Well, those were wonderful costumes. They had the right sculpt and that, they had the characters, attitudes, and that, beautiful. And I've seen more since, but we'll get to that. Okay. All right, everyone goes home, gets online, saying, oh yeah, we had a blast. Let's see what's going on in the next episode. The next episode, episode 3 of season 2, is incredibly broad with their humor. They have the character practically out of character. So real quick to him.
isn't it true that third season's gonna have a Dirty Hoops episode?
I don't know if that's true. At this point, it's really called out a rumor. Don't believe everything you read.
Let's
But
get through
it will
season
be
2,
corroborated.
and they'll leak season 3 probably over the summer, just like they did last year. That's what we'll know. If it's not from Hasbro, you can't guarantee it. Yeah, we have time is wrong, especially with ponies.
Listen, sir, aside from going incredibly broad with their humor and their characterizations, I mean, Fluttershy's snapping the neck of a bear.
That was great.
Yes, I know he's giving him a side, but you just look at that, it's like, what? I mean, this is, you wouldn't really expect this. So it's like, what's going on here? All right, we've seen, Twilight get a little out of sorts, a little excessive, and, pretty much goes overboard here. But at this point, you start noticing that they're throwing stuff in just for like the fans, or specifically the bronies. I mean, we start getting like the dirty sightings from there on. And probably the most overt one is that by the end of the episode, after the enchantment, the love me, love it, need it enchantment for the doll. What was the doll's name? Great Mass. Yes. Once the enchantment is gone, the great bit is that Big Macintosh makes sure nobody's looking both ways, picks it up with love in his eyes, and runs off with it. Because he's a brony. He likes these little pony toys meant for girls. Yeah, so I thought that was right. It was like a sly reference to bronies right now. Because the big man named, want this little girl's toy.
Jack actually has a line in this episode. A lot.
Yes, I saw it. Yeah, Applejack is not one, the most recent episode, Applejack is the one of a few words, just yell and no. And Big Macintosh goes into like a run-on sentence. But, that episode also sets up the recurring motif for the current season in Search for. It's not just Twilight that has to give up a report on friendship to Celestia. Now, any of the ponies can do it. Anything. So, we progress. I mean, what I want to do is like hit on events of note as the season progressed, and events that sort of reverberated through the fandom. So, oh yeah, because I didn't prepare a list of episodes. I've forgotten the chronology of them. But,
That's them. So who remembers what the next episode was after that?
Lunar Eclipse, thank you. How could I forget? Okay, first, yes. The costume introduces the, historical figure Star Swirl the Bearded. What's astonishing is that it wasn't a one-time gag. They made references to Star Swirl at least twice since the season progressed. Okay.
Anamorphic spell.
Father of the anamorphic spell?
Yeah, there was
They're doing goofball stuff. Spike the Dragon, his costume is a dragon.
Dragon.
Sometimes a chicken.
You see background ponies who are costumed as
Yes, please. I'm sorry, just said, I heard this off Reddit, this is really clever. They said Star Swirl the Bearded, master the ambiomorphic spell. Ambio, Latin for bowl, maker. So, in essence, Star Swirl the Bearded, father of the ambiomorphic spell, is a Harry Potter.
Everybody can know that.
When I looked it up, it actually said something more along the lines of following the spell from Warcraft. It says something that's more along the lines of that.
Yeah, but no.
That's pretty roundabout, but that's pretty.
That's pretty cool, though, regardless of what they were referencing.
Yeah, so subtle that nobody got it. And yes, of course, this was. By this point, there's been lots of fan fictions written. A lot of stories about, lonely, misunderstood Luna, and then she finally appears for real. Everyone was hoping, like, oh, is she gonna come back to the show? Where is she? We want to see her. She's being kept in a closet in the character lot.
In the dungeon.
Just like, packing up on 1,000 years worth of back issues of Newsweek or something. Yeah.
Equestria Daily.
That's your deal, yes. He's brought back, and I have to admit, because they don't have Halloween, they have Nightmare Night, which is sort of like Nightmare Moon. And again, they're bringing back their recurring guest characters. Zagora is telling the story of Nightmare Moon, and give her tributes of candy, and all that. So they're sort of reimagining Halloween as Nightmare Night. And then the decides to make her appearance, just under the clouds, with a flash of lightning and a hearty hi-ho silver, her chariot drawn by her personal guards. And the nice thing is they actually went and reprised the Nightmare Moon theme from that first episode, with that the overscore. It's beautiful. The thing comes rushing in, the camera is like duplicating the sort of like shape of telephone lens effect. And yeah, so we get to see Luna, we get to see what she's sort of like at this point. She's a bit archaic. Just about all of those Luna fan fictions have to be like, tossed in a trash bin, but they were funny at the time.
Yeah, so her caps lock key gets stuck.
Yes, the caps lock. That's the big
Royal League.
Also introduces Pip Scoop the Pony, which I really hope would have been a recurring character too. I haven't really seen it except outside.
He was in the IPO episode.
Was that episode? Oh, actually, yes. That's, yeah, you're correct. Is there a question? Oh, yes, please.
What about that little Princess Luna fanfic thing on Tumblr? It's mood stuff. Ego.
Yeah, Ego really
Story
has
of
Luna stuff.
Princess Luna's journey while she's on the move. It starts out with Princess Luna, because it's like little cute little filly Luna, and just her adventures on the move and what she does. It's kind of got like, just some stuff feel to it. But people who are reading through it can comment on what moves do next.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but I will say that's just another perfect indication that fans will be creative, imaginative, and just create tons of their own content on these shows. Which is a great thing. It's so much fun. What's interesting, there are two schools of thought. I want to dwell on these two. Two schools of thought, and what happened with Nightmare Moon being banished to the moon is that, one, she's conscious, and she's Luna, and she's marking time on the moon and making them slightly mad and all that. The other, which is the one that I was felt more perfect, is that it's more like she's Merlin consigned to oblivion. She's not really aware of time passing. It was her thing.
Oh, it seems like it could be either way, but, unless Hagler touches on it, it's going to be fan fiction for all of that.
Yeah.
All right, so what came after that, guys? Who remembers the next episode after Luna Eclipse?
Sisterhood Social.
Wet made it.
Okay. Social surprised us by introducing Rarity and Sweetville carrots. Okay, who are not the sophisticates you might have imagined they are. Okay.
Unless they came from Wisconsin.
Yeah, but quite the opposite. But yeah, they still have sort of a mandate to give us a little lesson about, friendship and relationships. And I don't think I've seen them since it aired, so I don't know. I've actually lost some details.
I think, sorry.
Celestia is my witness, I will
Fine.
never be
Yes.
sisterless again. Right, Celestia?
Beautiful line. Okay.
Celestia, I told you she knew you were watching them.
So yes, they're dropping they're paraphrasing Gone with the Wind with that one.
Do you want to say
Yeah, no,
something?
time me. I just think the point of that is, the show is all about friendship, and the point that episode makes is it's not easy to be friends with the people you're related with all the time. It's often assumed that people who are like, single children like me, that oh, you should be friends with your sister or brother, but that's often not the case between Sweetie Belle and certain Rarity. If you've heard the song that the Tombstone does, Sister Hate. Yeah, Sister Hate, before we get into that.
And of course, meantime, every time a new episode airs, it inspires a whole fresh, crop of ideas for fan fictions and fan art and funny music videos or visual animation. And, there's a whole other ton of content that's just been generated. Okay, and it's on record. And if it's any good, it's sent to Professor Bailey, and they'll make mention of it, and they'll get 5,000 hits because everyone's, oh, let's see what that's about. Okay, we moved on to. Why did I pick this?
All right, so after Sisterhood Social, what's next, guys?
Cutie Pops.
Les Marques des Cuties.
Speaking fancy.
I don't totally get the settings in there.
No, there was
Those are these ones. Yeah, these ones. And yeah, it's
So that was with, all the different cutie marks and how to get your cutie marks. I want a cutie mark. And that's a really nice reference to kids growing up. Which I thought was pretty neat. I thought that was cute. I think I'm alone in that. But
We'll never get that one.
yeah, they're not gonna use the cutie mark. I don't think
everything's
they
cute.
will.
It's My Little Pony. There's nothing in there that isn't cute. Except for the horsepower. We'll get there.
Horsepower was the animated sprinklet with sugar before it reaches the television sets.
All
All right, so what happened after Cutie Fox, guys? What was the next episode?
Yes.
Which one?
Made the best happen.
Right there.
Tag Girls!
All right, second
No,
episode.
we just made a couple of appearances. We see them twice in the past.
Second episode of the first Centric episode of the season. All of her friends are having a sort of like a friendship, a pet get together at like the Ponyville local dog run. Okay, Rainbow Dash feels left out because he doesn't have a pet, so he wants to participate with. So he's like, he wants a pet, and he wants a pet for all the wrong reasons.
And with all the wrong traits.
And he wants a pet for his status. Okay, he wants a pet as a status, not because it's like something to love and be loved by, care and responsibilities. He just wants something. He wants a pet that he can show off. Like a flashy car or something.
No, it's Rainbow Dash, who then learned a very valuable lesson about what that really is.
Yeah.
As usual.
At some point, they did find like half a minute to have like Twilight Sparkle and Applejack, whispering like, does she really know what a pet means?
That's why you would not be a good pet for me, Twilight.
Now they have tons of fun. They have a great song. Okay. They've got some pretty clever sight gags with it. With where all the pet contestants are actually want to compete in this thing, rather than just like take me as I am.
They're all Fluttershy as orphans.
Now, I have to admit, that the show's aimed for small children who may not be able to, see 2 or 3 steps ahead. But I think almost all of us here, once we saw the turtle show up in more than just one shot, and the tortoise show up in more than one shot, we realized it's going to be big.
And that's a fantastic character, and it's an example of recursion into of the show into itself, because you notice the lyrics from, Stitching It Together, you notice Rainbow won't look like a tank. Not only is there that, but also Fluttershy's objective gaze throughout the race scene. You know, you can tell that they're just
okay,
source
so
matter.
yeah.
That's just beautiful.
And yeah, at some point, everyone's looking at what happens, and they're thinking, by accident, in his line, they're thinking, oh, is this a reference to like 127 hours? In particular, where the guy, you know, who's alone in the canyon and gets his arms like taken out, his hand is on there, but it looked a lot like that. Okay, and yeah, and it worked. It had heart. Yes, Tank the Tortoise does in fact, you know, is the one who gets her out of there, and you know. And the other, you know, consistent pets, they're good sports at that. Remember the Falcon just like shakes his hand and, you know, the rest of the life.
I'm sure she'll find another Pegasus to love. That could be a good thing. What's after that? What's the next one, guys? What came after May the Best Pet Win?
There's a series of Mary Watch.
The Mayor Duel.
Okay. That is
Superhero.
even more significant. Okay. All right. Another Rainbow Dash right after the last one. You know, first he's just, you know, talented at doing these, you know, heroic feats. But then he gets a swelled head. Now he's doing it just for the attention. Okay.
Never fear, there's 7 years of Rainbow Dash is here.
Okay. Yeah. So what did you do? You know, the.
So the other ponies get together and teach her a lesson.
Yeah.
Very well.
Does anyone remember what happened in this episode for the first time? There's something wrong with the baby!
Baby cutie pony.
Forget my ignorance, but I never understood the concept of the cutie mark.
No,
I literally watched my first episode last night during the stream, so.
Okay. Let's go over this as briefly as we can. I don't know when it started being called the cutie mark. Perhaps
Right from the beginning, and actually G3 started calling it the cutie mark.
Okay.
And it's the concept of when you figure out what your special thing is and what makes you special and unique and what you're going to do for your life, you get your special symbol on the side. And
It's not a tattoo.
No,
It's not a Rangers brand.
no, but it's magic and it appears on kids when they're at a certain age, quote unquote.
That's the cute.
And you got the 3 blank blanks who don't have one, the cutie mark crusaders, and they want to get there.
There are
And that's a
subtle.
whole side plot.
There are subtle allusions to puberty.
Yes, oh, they're not very subtle, I don't know. They're pretty obvious. And so the idea is that you're not born with a cutie mark, they give you a name, but that doesn't, sometimes it'll be what you are, like the Applejack family are all about apples, and most of them have apples, so we kind of assume that Apple Bloom will have an apple, but we don't know. And neither does she.
A lot of cutie marks are actually really abstract, and they don't give you a really big clue as to what the character is.
Yeah, well, that's because they're background characters to begin with.
Was Mary Smith called before she was a grandmother?
They haven't said.
Nope, they haven't figured that one out.
They haven't said. There's been fan speculation. I don't recall what this came up with, but you know. But yeah, she has an appetizer.
She has a background story, but they don't call her by a different name in that background story.
But
When
we'll
they
get
do
to that.
the label, yeah.
So anyway, you're learning about this series. Now, what was
Very
interesting?
well.
What was interesting about the series very well was I was looking at the fan commentary as that episode was being aired, and what's interesting is a lot of fans started objecting to what they were seeing. They were seeing things in Ponyville that didn't seem to fit with their worldview of what equestrian was. Ponyville suddenly has a major town kind, big, tall, hydroelectric dam. Factored in. Now, I understand when you've got a gag that just serves a single episode plot, it's not going to see again. So there's a dam. There was a steep mountain road that ended in like a sheer drop-off, like a ski jump. Again, and it features like twice, maybe 3 times an episode. I'm waiting for like a character like Pinkie Pie to say, why do we even have that road anyway? and be roundly ignored because Pinkie Pie saying it. Yeah. And a scene that featured a high-rise building being constructed with cranes by pony construction workers, you know, which suffers a catastrophic collapse.
That's why they don't have them.
Good call.
Because
Well, maybe they do have them in Manhattan, that would make sense. But not in Ponyville.
What I found significant about that episode, other than the fact little notions that, you know, it doesn't like Mysterious Mary World with a little like cartoon doc or, you know, stuff like that. But, like, they were, you know, she ends up with her own fan following and Ponyville holding up posters that resemble the graphics for Batman the animated series. You know. But, what struck me as interesting is that the way fans were objecting to these oddities showing up in Ponyville, you know, I started sensing perhaps a misplaced sense of propriety from a number of fans. It's like, the show has to conform to their vision rather than what the showmakers wanted to do.
Fanon versus canon.
You know, maybe the thing is, you know, way back in the first season, Laura Krause had said, well, we don't handle logic too hard on the show. Okay. So all the pieces are not going to fit together perfectly to make a complete picture. Okay.
I don't think that in the Mary Well episode, I don't think they ever said who was the one that rescued the pony from that hot air balloon. So I saw a little comic, it was like, who did that? Then you see a close-up of Mary Well's goggles, or their eyes.
Yep, very good. By the way, I want to spin back very briefly to July 2011. Hasbro has a booth at Comic-Con in San Diego, and they had produced a set of posters, kind of small, but it was a crowd scene of like old ponies that were featured prominently in the first season, including any number of fan favorites. So they were already sort of like pitching back towards Bronies with this one. Okay, and even I think there were a pair of characters really tiny in the balloon in the background, which I think turned out to be Pipsqueak and that aviator.
Yep, there are. It was all the characters that were named or not named that were big players in season 1, including, you know, Twilight's parents were on there at one point. They've got Turkey, they've got,
Even if they
you know, the
weren't,
Chimera, the Phoenix, all of those things.
even if
are
they
in that
weren't big
section.
players,
Right.
they were like fan favorites. Like they've got Doctor Who's got off on the side, you know. They've
They
got
had a real name or a fan name,
Yes.
they made it on that poster.
they've got Colgate with a big smile, you know.
Mhm.
Always the
Yeah.
Lyra and Bonbon pairing. Presumably the Lyra and Bonbon pairing came simply because the colors worked well together. You know, when they're an advocate, somebody who you know, likes her stuff, or speaks up for herself. And at the same time, she wants to find herself enough time to make, you know, a nice gift dress for Twilight Sparkle because her birthday is coming up. It's possible to have enough time for this. What's astonishing, amusing about this episode is that by the episode's end, she's doing like a typical like sitcom, almost like what Out of Lucy, where she's trying to like participate in 2 parties at one time. And
Flintstones.
she's Flintstones. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. She has
Flintstones.
spun a web of lies in order to make this happen, which amazingly this web does not come crashing down. She has to confess to everything by the episode's end.
Well, it did come crashing down, and she did have to, but they made it all well by, oh, we don't care anyway, we still love you.
Yeah.
Usual pony stuff, oh, everybody's happy at the end.
It's everything you just can't lie.
Exactly, because he is. So that worked out well, but getting there was half the fun. And it's certainly entertaining for those of us watching it.
All right, moving along.
So after that came what episode, guys?
Secret of ISS.
Secret of